I am not exaggerating when I say 28 Years Later has one of the dumbest endings I've ever seen in my life, but I just watched the movie, so here's my full spoiler-free thoughts on the best and worst parts of the film. First of all, I really want to highlight the visuals of this movie because this does legitimately look gorgeous in so many different shots. Obviously, it's taking place 28 years after this rage virus infected people and the zombie apocalypse kind of began, so everything's really overgrown. There's lots of really great landscape shots in here, and it was all shot on iPhones, and it really gives it a unique look, just like the first one that was filmed on like a camcorder. Visuals are incredibly important to me, and there's really not a shot in this entire movie that doesn't look pretty impressive. And I also think the core story here is pretty solid. Obviously, like I said, we're 28 years after the infection started, and we're focusing primarily on this family of Aaron Taylor Johnson, his wife Jodie Comer, and their son. And like the first hour of this movie focuses in on kind of this adventure to the mainland. I'm not going to spoil any more than that for the story. You should go in pretty blind. And I absolutely love the first hour though. Like it's legitimately super thrilling. I think the kid Alfie Williams, who plays the son, is legitimately incredible in this movie. So is Aaron Taylor Johnson. And like I said, this first hour I was so locked in. It's intense. It's actually like horrifying. The visuals, again, insane. Now, just like the other 28 Days and Weeks movies, I don't think this movie is particularly scary, which isn't a negative, but I do think the action and gore in this one is the best of the franchise. Like there are some really insane and just thrilling action sequences in this, and some just really gnarly kills. So if you like that type of stuff, there is plenty of that in this movie that you will definitely be satisfied with. But it feels like they had like a 50 to 60 minute short film here, and then they're like, oh wait, we have to add on more to the story to make this like a 2 hour long feature length film, because that's when all the cracks start to show, are in the second half of this movie. Now the entire second half isn't terrible or anything. There's some really touching moments and good character moments, but it definitely slows down to almost a halt that it gets really boring compared to that first hour. Also, there's some really weird tonal shifts, like a Swedish guy shows up. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it turns into like this weird, wacky comedy for like 15 minutes in the middle of the movie. And I won't say who, obviously, but I will say the second half also struggles, because there's a character in the first half that's really strong. But then for some reason in the second half, the movie like completely forgets they exist. They completely shift the focus of the movie. And I kept thinking like, hey, maybe we should cut back to this other person. And it just never happened until way too late in the movie. Another problem I have is the editing, and a lot of the fight and action scenes in this movie is super weird and jarring. Now, I'm sure they did that on purpose to kind of make you like unsettled as a viewer, but I'm sorry, it didn't work. It was just distracting, some of the cuts. And anytime a zombie's getting killed off or like hit with an arrow in this movie, the effects are honestly so goofy. Like it does some like 360 spin sped up thing. It feels like they're just hitting random editing buttons on CapCut instead of being like a major motion picture. But the editing I can forgive, and even the second half of the movie, even though it was definitely less engaging than the first hour, there were still some solid moments. I could have forgiven that too. But the one thing I am not able to forgive in this movie is the ending, because it absolutely ruins the experience for me and dropped the rating like a full star or two, honestly. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything at all, but I will just say that about 90 minutes into this 2 hour long movie, there was a scene that genuinely should have been the ending of the film. It felt like things were coming to a big end. It would have been an absolutely perfect and beautiful ending to this movie, and it really would have improved the things I didn't like in the second half, because it was just such a strong way to go out. But then the movie keeps going for 20 minutes past that scene, and it just gets stupider with every minute. I can't emphasize enough how bizarre the final scene felt to me. Like, I swear the tone is entirely different than the rest of the movie. I felt like I was watching like an SNL skit or like a Looney Tunes cartoon in the very final scene of the movie. It literally ruined the experience for me, because I just could not wrap my head around why this was the ending. It's such a weird decision. It was just such a shame, because like I said, that first hour, I was so locked in. I thought this was going to be one of my favorite movies of the year, and I still recommend going and seeing it, because for like an hour and a half, there's really strong moments all throughout this. It looked beautiful. This is a movie that's kind of hard to give a rating to, because there's so much greatness and terribleness in the same film, but I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. If you've seen the movie, let me know your rating in the comments below, and to check out my other reviews on the channel, click the playlist above me.